Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another maker interview on this show we're calling The Maker's View. This week we're really happy to bring to you an interview that we did with James Wright from Wood By Wright. It was a really fun interview with some really great information about his life and some really great information about the hand tools he uses and why he uses them and a lot more stuff like that. So if you want to know a little bit more about James Wright from Wood By Wright, stick around. Hi James, how are you doing?
Not too bad. I'm having a lot of fun here. This is actually kind of cool.
All right. We're really glad to have you. When we usually get started an interview, we want to find out just like maybe a summary, if you want to give a little background about yourself to start things off.
Okay. Well, I grew up in a wood shop when I was 5 years old. A friend of the family had a shop that he had 2 table saws and 40 dedicated routers. He had a 30-inch wide planer, and that's what I grew up in. So this was woodworking is kind of my history from there. But then the problem was our family moved quite a few times. I've actually moved 25 times in my life. Lived in 9 different states, and so I've gone through a lot of different tools because every time I move, I either sell or get new tools or something of that nature, and so life is kind of fun that way. But I did that all growing up, and that was my passion. Anything I could make with my hands in the shop, that was love for me. Until I met my wife, and things change, and kids come along, and we've been having a lot of fun with that. But no, life is really good, and I'm really amazed how things change as different portions of your life come along. In that you have some passions that stick with you, but sometimes they just change as other things come into your life with kids and family. And so I'm kind of in the middle of that with kids now. And bringing them into my passions, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, awesome. I think you kind of touched on it, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. How long has woodworking been a part of your life?
I honestly don't remember when I didn't do something making. I mean, when I was 5 years old, my father started doing furniture woodworking, and I was there with him. But even before that, we were remodeling houses and doing things like that. And so I was always, pulling nails out of boards and carrying things around. And making is just a part of my DNA. So I don't know if there was actually a starting point. All
right. Anybody that watches your channel knows that you are very, very much a hand tool woodworker. Can you elaborate a little bit more on why you chose to go that direction?
Well, up until I started hand tools, a little over a year ago, I had never in my life touched a hand plane. I had a set of chisels, but I never used them. They were never sharp. I was completely power tools for almost all my life. I mean, 2 houses ago, I had a complete shop, joiner, planer, table saw, everything. And we moved again, and through life circumstances, I had to sell things and get rid of it. And we moved again, and then I had to get rid of more, and then we moved again, and I sold everything. And I basically just said, I'm never going to be doing hand tools again. I'm never going to be doing woodworking again until I saw a YouTube video of a guy making a grooving plane, and thought, wow, that's kind of cool. And it started my brain really thinking about, how did people do it in the past? And it just recaptured my joy of woodworking. And then on top of that, it's quiet, so I can do it when the kids are napping. And it's fairly safe. I don't have the power tools running, so the kids can be here in the shop with me. And there's less dust, so I can do it in the basement because my shop is 10 feet by 8 feet. And so it was just kind of like all these things suddenly coming together, and hand tools brought back that joy of woodworking for me, and getting to explore and understand that passion again it's completely fired me up.
That's really cool. So what advice, or what would be one piece, if you had to choose only one piece of advice to give to a woodworker that is just getting into it using hand tools, what advice would you give them?
I think that the biggest thing is that with power tools, it is really all about, well, not all about, but a large majority of it is about how you set things up, how you set up the table saw, how you tune things in, and how you make the tool ready to do the work. And then you put the wood through it. And that's the art of learning how to make the tool do what you need to do. Whereas with hand tools, there is some of that setup, but most of it is you, and it's your muscle, and it's your feeling. And so if you buy a really, really good table saw right off the bat, you expect that table saw to do really good work and be fairly easy to set up. Well, in order to do things with hand tools, you have to train your muscles. You have to train that small muscle movement, how it feels to grip something, how it feels as it goes through different types of wood and different orientations of wood. And the only way you can learn that is by doing it. And so a lot of people get into it and they do all of this preparation work and they read books and they watch videos and they buy the best things that they can get and they jump into the work and they make absolute trash. And then they give up on it. And it's not about learning the tool as much about learning the art form and learning your own muscles. And so I think the biggest piece of advice I can give you is try to fail. Try to mess up and just jump into the work and have fun. Because until you actually learn it and until you mess it up, you're never going to enjoy it.
Right. That's a good piece of advice in a lot of things.
Yeah.
All right, this is probably one of my favorite questions to ask everybody. What is your favorite tool?
Oh, I hate that question. My favorite tool is whatever I'm holding at the moment. It's kind of a cop-out.
That's a great answer.
But if I had to pick a single tool, I would probably pick my 2-inch chisel. And I think that's because this is kind of the basis of every tool. A saw is nothing but a bunch of chisels. A plane is nothing but a jig that holds a chisel. And if you can master this, you can master a lot of hand tools. And so I find myself grabbing this a lot. So.
Cool. Okay, this question's probably the one I was looking the most forward to asking you. What is the oldest tool you have that you still use?
Well, my oldest tool with all of its original parts is my Stanley No. 7. That's from 1880, 1889, somewhere in that range. And it's complete and all original. I love using that beast. My oldest tool that is basically all a tool is, this one. It is a German smoothing plane from the 1820s, 1840s, somewhere in that range. And so this one I still enjoy. It still works right now, but I need to do some restoring on it. But I do have the... Yes! Haha! This is actually I remade the body, and my old body is here, and this was originally made in at least 1820. It may have been made in the 1700s. So I still have the iron that I use constantly. It's my general go-to shoulder plane, and yeah.
Oh wow!
1700. So
I definitely do not have any tools that old. All right, what made you want to start getting into making YouTube videos?
Well, YouTube is something that I've done a lot of. I have about 6 different channels running. And so from the moment I could record everything, I had a camera at like age 8. I just love documenting my life and what I'm doing. And so anytime I have a hobby, it was just natural for me to create a YouTube channel around the hobby. And most of the time it's just like to document what I'm doing so I have information for the future. Like my friends who are interested in that particular hobby. But when I started this with hand tools, I thought, oh great, I'll make another channel for that. And this one, my friends liked it and my friends shared it. And their friends shared it. And it was just like, okay, people are actually interested in this. This is kind of weird. So this is the first channel I've made that is that I'm intentionally trying to grow. So it's kind of
Right.
a different experience for me.
Cool. I've actually checked out you have your Wright Flyer channel. Was there any other ones
I have
that you currently use?
the Wright Flyer, which used to be, I was building a cozy airplane, which is a 4-seat, 200-mile-an-hour airplane. And I did a video on real estate when I was doing that. I had a YouTube channel on network marketing. I had my personal vlog channel, and then I have a personal family channel that is just for people I've given the link to.
Yeah.
And I had one other channel for something else, but I can't remember what it was. I'll remember it some other time.
Yeah, I put you on the spot. What is your favorite video that you've made, and why?
My favorite video is probably the smoothing plane that I made about 3 or 4 months ago. It was a ash body with a Purple Heart sole. It was my first solid attempt at making a smoothing plane. And I really put a lot of time and effort into that. And it was just kind of a fantastic, it was far cooler than it needed to be. And I love it when a project is something that you can show off and really be, this is really cool. Just as cool on YouTube, it's just as cool in person. And it was kind of sad to give both of those away, but I've got 2 people out there who are fairly happy with them.
All right, what are your thoughts on the maker community as a whole? I know for the most part, you're a woodworker, but what are your thoughts on the maker community as a whole?
Well, my background is in theater prop making.
Cool.
And so I've done a lot of that. My master's is in technical theater automation. And so I have making experience all over the place. And so I'm a part of many different maker groups. But every maker group you get into is just like extremely positive and uplifting and happy. Just a great group of people, because there's just something about making that makes you feel good about life, because you're adding to it, you're improving it, you're increasing what's around you, and that really gets contagious. So particularly the groups I'm in with right now are just over the top amazing, and helpful people and great encouragement. And just when you have a bad day and something doesn't go right, they'll be there to cheer you up and help you through it. And it's just a great community.
I couldn't agree more. I've loved every second of it that I've been involved with it. We want to give everyone we interview the opportunity to give some love back to the maker community. And to do the way we want to do that is give you an opportunity to kind of maybe shout out some other channels or recommend some channels that you think other people should check out. So,
wow,
who would
this
you
could
like
be a really
to
long
shout
list. A really long list. I mean, there's just so many really cool channels out there. I think there are like 4 or 5 that whenever they have a video pop up, I stop what I'm doing and I watch it. Number 1, Matt Cremona has just been an incredible encouragement to me personally. The way he does things and his personality, he's just amazing to watch. One of the biggest inspirations into my work has actually been Bearcat Woodworks. Brian is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, his work and his tool cabinet and his bench just blow my mind. So anytime he throws something up, I watch that, and I've kind of made a good friendship with him, and we pass things back and forth whenever they're working on something. Oh, dude, cool, you gotta go check this out. And I love his work. Video-wise, one that has recently caught my eye, Cactus Woodworks. Cactus Workshop? Everyone calls him Cactus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has some of the really stinking sweet, cool videos. And his eye for the way things go, it's just really phenomenal. His channel is growing exponentially, and so deserves it. And I love watching what he does.
All right, so the last thing we want to ask you, that way everybody knows, where can people find you online?
I am on all the locations, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and even a few others, all of them Wood By Wright. So if you want to see my website, woodbywright.com. But most everything I do is on YouTube or Instagram is kind of what I do on a daily basis.
Cool. All right, well, it's been really interesting getting to learn some of this stuff about you that I didn't know. And it was just a lot of fun to talk to you in general.
It's a lot of fun. This is a really cool interview. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. See you around.
So guys, we hope you enjoyed this interview with James. If you did, please hit that like button and share the video around so more people can get to know James, a little bit more about his channel and some of the stuff that he does over there. Also, if you didn't know already, we do turn this episode into a podcast as well as all the past interviews that you can get on iTunes and Stitcher, or you can listen to on our website. If you want to see more interviews like this with different makers from a variety of different backgrounds, please consider subscribing to this channel. We hope to be putting out interviews every week or couple weeks, and hope to do that for the foreseeable future. So as always guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.